Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 2. So we are swiftly moving into the semester. So this is week 2. So this week, as with all weeks, you'll have something due Friday, this Friday, the 24th of January, and then you'll have some things due on Monday, January 27th. So for this Friday, please read these 4 articles about narrative writing. So this is going to help you understand a little bit more about essay 1, which is your personal narrative. And this is like the introduction to narration. This is an extremely short little article. So if you're taking notes or annotating for this, which you should be, I don't expect, a lot of content for something that short. Then we have narrative writing, just kind of what it is and a basic structure of what a narrative can include. You also want to think about this structure and the story sequencing in terms of the essays that we've read and are reading. So for Once More to a Lake, Once More to the Lake, sorry, and Shooting an Elephant. So think about how this structure looks in the essays that we are reading in class. So there's 4 pages there. Down here at the bottom, you can click next. Just make sure that the title of the article here is one of the ones that I've listed. So for example, this is descriptive essays. This is the last page that I'm asking you to read. You don't need to click next. If you click next, it's going to take you to another article that I'm not asking you to read. So just make sure that you're aware of, which specific articles I've asked you to read here, and take notes on so that you don't do more than you have to do. So read those articles and submit annotations or notes. Then please read or watch the information that I've included here. Annotations or notes are not required for this assignment. You can, however, submit them for extra credit. I would like for you first to take a look at the MLA resources page that's here in Canvas and just kind of familiarize yourself with what's available. There are some resources about the overall MLA format for a paper. Then we have some citing and using sources resources here, a works cited guide, and then, oh, unfortunately, it looks like this is not available any longer. I will look for an alternative. You can, of course, purchase the MLA handbook if you would like to, but I'm sure there are some other resources online as well. And then going back to this assignment, I have a page on my website that's entitled MLA Format. And there's just some general information here. And then I've included a couple YouTube video tutorials. So if you're using Google Docs, this is how you can set up your paper in MLA format. If you use Microsoft Word, this is just a video about the works cited page, what your entries should look like on the works cited page. And then for in-text citations, what they should look like. And then I have some examples here as well. Finally, there are a couple sample papers. So this is like a full paper, and then it's pointing out, essentially it's annotated. It's pointing out each element and, what this paper includes and specifics on formatting and how that's been achieved in these 2 papers. There's another one down here. Okay, so that is that assignment. Essentially, you just need to read and look through these things. You can submit annotations and notes for extra credit. All right, then finally, you need to submit your rough draft of essay 1. So remember, this is the personal narrative essay. So you should have read this personal narrative essay assignment page, the prompt for this first essay. You should have read that this past week. That was one of your assignments for week 1. And essentially, you're writing your own story, your own personal narrative. So the rough draft is due this Friday, January 24th, and it needs to follow MLA formatting guidelines. So while you don't need to use any outside sources for this first essay, you do need to make sure that your paper is properly formatted in MLA format. So that's why I'm including that MLA format reading and watching as an assignment here. Okay, also a tip. If you look down here, you're going to need to submit evidence of tutoring for essay one. So once you finish your rough draft of essay one, you should immediately make an appointment or submit it for tutoring. Don't wait until Monday to start doing that. As soon as you're done, remember it's just a rough draft, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but as soon as you're done, you should be setting up tutoring. Now there's more information here, so we'll get to that in just a moment. The next thing that you should be doing is, again, you're exposing yourself to a personal narrative example, an example of great writing. So we're going to be reading next an essay or story, kind of borderlines, Once More to the Lake and Shooting an Elephant, both kind of straddle this line between a personal essay and a short story. But Shooting an Elephant is by George Orwell, so you probably have heard of his famous novel, 1984, as well as his novella, Animal Farm. Maybe you've read one of those. And this is, again, a short story, personal essay by him, a little bit about this particular work. And again, I want you to be paying attention to the language, right? The descriptive language that he is using, and keeping in mind those three poles of reference that Huxley described in his preface, right? Think about how is Orwell achieving those three poles, or maybe he's not. But again, just bring that awareness to your reading and also be thinking about how you can achieve each one of those poles in your own writing for this first essay. I've included an audio version here if you would like to listen as well as read. I highly recommend that if you do choose to listen, that you are also reading with your eyes while you're listening. Having that like multi-sensory input can really help you to stay focused if you struggle with like, keeping your attention on something, which I do sometimes struggle with that. So it always will help me if I can listen to an audio version while my eyes are on the page and reading the words. And I always like to hear somebody read to me anyways. So you can download the PDF file there, and then the audio is there. You do need to submit annotations or notes for this assignment. This is worth 10 points. There will not be a discussion about this reading because this week you are working on your essay. So I try to balance, what I'm asking you to do. So really this essay or this reading is just for your continued awareness, your input of good writing, and as a good example for you for this first essay. Okay, so back to the tutoring. So I mentioned that when you submit your rough draft, you should also submit or set up an appointment for tutoring. So for tutoring, you have a few different options. So you will have a required tutoring for each essay. The reason that I do this is because as a professor with 30 students in a class, it's hard for me to give you a lot of individualized feedback. It just takes a lot of time. And frankly, I'm not paid well enough to do that. As much as I would love to sit and spend, 20, 30 minutes on each essay and giving you a lot of great feedback, sometimes students don't even bother to read what I write. And again, it's extremely time consuming. So the best way though, for you to improve as a writer is for you to get feedback on your writing, on what you've actually written, right? I'm giving you articles to read about narrative writing and things like that, but it's hard often to take what you've read and put it into action. It takes practice and just practice really, and getting feedback and seeing what you're doing and being told what you could do better or what you are doing well already. So that's why you're doing tutoring for this class. So, all right, there's a few different options. Chafee Success Center offers tutoring. You can do in-person or online tutoring. There's also a tutoring option called NetTutor, online tutoring. This is online only. And I've given you here the steps that you should take if you want to do each one of these things. And then there's STAR CA tutoring. You can access all of these through this link over here called Tutoring Support, okay? Now, you need to do the tutoring, and then you're going to submit some proof of your tutoring, like a screenshot of a message or an email or your document, something. And then you need to write a short paragraph, kind of reflecting on the experience and answering some of these questions. Then to receive credit, you'll submit the tutoring verification and your reflection paragraph to this assignment. So hopefully that's pretty straightforward. Let's look though, if we click on tutoring support, what that looks like and where to go from here. So you can connect with a Chafee tutor. Here is that STAR CA tutoring. So this is basically for drop-in support with the Chafee Success Center. You most of the time need to make an appointment. So whether it's in person or online, they should often have like same day appointments available, but you do need to schedule an appointment to meet with a tutor. And then that would be synchronous, right? You're meeting with a tutor kind of live. I believe you have an option whether you want it to be video or just audio, but it's live. And then the STAR CA is also like a live drop-in support. The cool thing here, the NetTutor is a great option because you can essentially drop off your paper. So you would just upload. So let's see, we want to go to English and literature. And then, so you can drop in and meet with a live tutor, you can schedule an appointment, but there's this option to drop off a paper. And a lot of students like this option because if you're busy, you can basically upload your paper, a tutor will look over it and give you feedback, and then you get the results. You get all of the feedback from the tutor to your email. Now, one downside of this is that you don't really get the opportunity to ask questions, right? Because you're not live with someone. And then you also have to choose like specific things that you want the tutor to look at. So it's maybe not as broad of feedback as you might get if you're meeting with a live tutor, but still a great option. So I would encourage you to explore a couple different options here, based on your schedule and what you can, what your time permits. But I would definitely encourage you to connect with a Chafee tutor at some point, and I'd encourage you to try out that drop-off tutoring as well. So once you're done with your rough draft, you're essentially ready for tutoring. So finish your rough draft and figure out which tutoring option you would like to pursue. Please try your best to submit your verification and your paragraph by Monday. If you couldn't get an appointment or you're waiting for an appointment, if you submit it sometime later next week, that's okay too. I won't take off any points. And then finally, your first supplemental learning requirement or success center requirement is due. So everything is here on the supplemental learning requirement page. You have a choice of a group activity or a self-paced activity. There's like a video where you can look at an example, and then there are links to sign up here for the group activities, and then links to sign up here for the self-paced activities, and then some specific information about how to get credit. And if you have any questions, you can call any of the success centers, any of the campuses, and you can also go in person if you are on campus. Okay, so that's it for this week. Down here at the bottom, there's just a couple links for extra credit options and a couple opportunities for extra credit there. So please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'm grading your week 1 assignments, and I should have most of those done by this evening, Monday, January 20th. So again, any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out, and I think that's it. So I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.